Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spiritual Astrology. So today I wanted to talk to you guys all about the houses, and particularly divided into the elements. Now, I know that the houses are, like, there are names for, in general, for houses that represent the qualities of the signs, like cardinal, fixed, immutable, like cadent, and whatever, the rest of the names. But like, I have found a strong focus being an astrologer for like 25 years. Well, maybe like 20 more, well, 15 practicing, but like I've been studying it my whole life. But the houses can be divided into like the first, fifth, and ninth would be together because they relate to something that's a specific type of thing that's in our life. These are very personal and identification, heart-based houses. The first, fifth, and ninth. The first, obviously, is the first kind of thing that people see when they meet you. It's also how you perceive the world. It's how people perceive you. It's the ascendant. That's what the first house beginning is, the ascendant, and the cusp of a house is generally of more importance to the whole house. So the first house really shows our identity in the sense, we take it to heart, which is what the fifth house rules over: our heart, our family, the values we place in life itself, enjoyment and pleasure, and vitality. So the sun really shines here. So anyone with the sun in the fifth house, obviously that's accidental exaltation. But I have the moon there, which is a bit much. It's kind of like moon and Leo. But yeah, these three first houses here, the first, fifth, and ninth, are very personal. So anyone, saying anything or doing anything to offend you in these areas is going to be something that you might be defensive against, and you're going to take it to heart. And the ninth house, of course, is what you believe in. So obviously, yes, it really has to do with your morals and your conscience. But these three areas are areas of life that we need to protect because they're the most important. They bring us joy, they bring us life, a sense of identity, a sense of separation. And this is good because it gives our ego a boost. So depending on what, is in your chart and what, how old you are, what kind of path you're on at this point in life, one of those houses is going to be more important than the other, but basically this is where we take energy. We get our energy from these houses. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius rule them. So these people generally, if you have the sun in any of these placements, of course the sun in a fire sign is content. We have Aries, where the sun is exalted. We have Leo, where the sun is ruled. And then Sagittarius, which is trine both of these signs. No wonder Sagittariuses are known to be happy-go-lucky, because they have that energy. But yeah, these three houses, if they're well placed, there's planets in them. Say you have a trine within these houses, that's amazing. Like I have nothing in my first, but I have Jupiter and the moon in my fifth, plus Pluto in my ninth, which thank goodness without anything in my first except for my north node and Vesta, which is random. But regardless if you have any planets here or anything aspecting between like someone else's birth chart, there's definitely going to be a sense of a sense of passion here, always, regardless of what signs are here. If there's transiting planets to these placements are going to feel alive. You're not going to question anything too deeply. It's going to be heart-based and logical and straightforward for the most part. So now moving on to the next 4, I would have to say the 2nd, 6th, and 10th. This has a lot to do with worth and value and how you spend your time in day-to-day life in this physical world. So a lot of people with placements in these houses are very efficient. I have nothing in my 2nd, nothing in my 6th, and Mars in my 10th. So I would say this is a weaker in general, even though Mars is there. In my life, even though I'm a Capricorn, I'm an Earth sign, I'm not necessarily very organized. Like, I have, which is annoying because I have so much organization, ability, but my Gemini moon in my 5th. But anyway, here we move on from like being happy and looking for life, giving energy. We do things to help sustain ourselves. So this is about balance and sustainability and growing up and maturity, regardless of what house or what signs are here. I mean, if they're fire or air, you're gonna take these energies more lightly. For me, it's fire, 2 fire, and 1 water. So for me, that's why I'm not like, things don't need to be organized. I know people with a lot of like Venus and Mars or the sun or the moon here, and I find these people are just so caught up in being a good person, being like organized and having your stuff together. But to me, because I have Cancer in the 6th, it's kind of like, oh, whatever, I have to take life one day at a time, and it's very emotional for me. I might cry at work, which is annoying, because I don't generally do that in real life, but I take offense to what I do throughout my day-to-day life in my job. But here we start to see rewards in a sense, because whatever you place here, whatever you value, will come back to you. If you do something in a very karma is very important here in the sense that you're going to feel a sense of pressure. This is where how much pressure, how much stress do you put on yourself? How do you value yourself even, or your possessions? How much money have you made throughout your life? How much effort you're willing to put in to basically put your values first. So if you have any planets here, there's energy trying to influence you to value yourself, value your work, do what needs to be done. Yeah, but it's very sensible energy. No wonder the Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, roll over these areas naturally. But I find these houses actually quite spiritual in the sense of the physical world. They'll show you how the spiritual world is talking to us through physical objects, through day-to-day life, through logic. Like, you work, you get money, you buy something with it. It's very step-by-step, For me as a Capricorn, I've relied on a sense of stability because people are unpredictable. So things, like the things that I own, are tangible and reliable at the end of the day. Okay, now moving on to the next houses, there's the 3rd, 7th, and 11th, and this is the relational houses. How do you relate to other people? What are you willing to give up? I have an air sign rising, so Leo on the 7th house. So in a relationship, I might give up too much of myself and expect something from my partner in return. Unconsciously, of course, but people are, I think it shows the willingness and logic behind what you're willing to put behind a relationship here, and like what signs or planets here, they'll show you the kind of energy you have in your relationships. You know, do random people go up to you? Do people tell you secrets? Do people give things to you without you asking? Which I think would be like earth signs on the 7th house or the 3rd. But also here there's the type of karma, just like the last one. It's like, because earth and air, which naturally rule over these houses, are more karma related. It's like, you know, Libra, Aquarius, all of the earth and air signs are karma. So it's like whatever you give out, you get back. What as above, so below, and that has a lot to do with these 3 houses. So if any planets are here, I would say there's an influence here to have relationships. Now me, I have nothing in my 3rd, nothing in my 7th, and like Neptune and Uranus in my 11th. So, see, I don't think that that's very strong. You know, everything's in my 12th and 11th house, but I don't have a lot of relationships because Saturn is conjunct Saturn is on the border of my 12th house. So for me, with these planets here, it's been nebulous. It's been kind of difficult to navigate. Who can I trust? You know, people leave, people come, because of the Neptune and Uranus in my 11th. But also, the 11th is interesting here because it's similar to the 2nd, where it's like the 11th shows you